Bing. Here we go. Hell yeah.
Here we are.
Bernie's LA rally, yeah.
Fight the oligarchy tour. A lot of people were saying that you shouldn't use the word oligarchy because they don't know what it means. And I'm like,
So stupid.
again, here we are talking down. Like, people can Google the word if they don't know what it means. It's like it's been an oligarchy for a while now. It's just people are only waking up to it because at the inauguration, Trump had the wealthiest people in the world right next to him. And people are like, what the hell is this? So it took that to kind of wake everybody up to be like, wait a second, what is this big time money doing so close to our government? It's like, yeah, that's the way it's been for the last 45 years. You just haven't been paying attention.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, it couldn't be more obvious. And, like, the whole reaction to this whole thing and everything is like, enough with your, like, concern trolling. That's what it is, because it's just like, if anything, like, the purpose of these rallies is to bring attention to the fact that America is devolving into a fucking oligarchy where the richest people at the top get to not only call the shots, control the president, manipulate the fucking market, but soak up more wealth and power for themselves at the expense of everybody else.
Yeah, and it's just becoming a more transparent oligarchy. It's becoming a more explicit oligarchy. It's been an oligarchy for a while, but now it's really concentrated. Now it's really just the billionaire class running the show.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly.
All right, like, what the fuck? It's almost 1:30 and they're still dicking around with music.
Yeah, I thought, like, the music was earlier in the day and whatnot, but
there was Maxwell Frost spoke. I missed that one. He's fine. He's another love conquers all guy, though. And I just, I think it's going to be a process, man. I think we want what we want it, what we want when we want it, and we want this party to transform into the party of righteous anger. But it's not going to be in just one election cycle. It's going to be in 2 or 3 election cycles.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's like, I understand the necessity for bringing people together, and I guess what's we're looking for, like, instigating a sense of community among as many people as possible. I mean, that's kind of what I would say that's a major purpose of what these rallies are serving ultimately, as well as bringing awareness. It's just like to make people, I guess, feel better about, feel like there's someone at least speaking for them and fighting for them and showing a sense of understanding about, like, what exactly is going on, and that they're not alone in feeling this way. If anything, there should be a bigger focus on, how do we get out of this, what needs to be done, and how do we change course, because we're speeding down the path to, like, total tyranny, tech feudalist, fascism, with the president basically as a CEO that does the bidding of the ultra wealthy at the expense of everybody else. So I mean, we'll see exactly what Bernie has to say, because I mean, he's been saying the same exact thing for decades and decades, but
45 years, yeah.
we'll see how much like, the rhetoric has changed.
I just want the portfolio of personalities to expand and grow. Like, they had Ro Khanna, they had Pramila Jayapal, they had Maxwell Frost earlier. These are all established names. I need to see some new up and comers. This Kat Abou-Ghazalia,
Hmm.
from Illinois is pretty cool. But she's just a primary nominee, so she's not getting the red carpet treatment. But we just need to
Yeah.
grow and it would be cool to see. You know, it'd be really cool is to see some establishment Democrats kind of cross over and be like, okay, I'm with Bernie and AOC now. This party really does
Yes.
need to change. That's what would, instead of, like, I love the idea of primarying these establishment figures because I love anti-establishment politics,
Yeah.
but really, like, the thing that
Yeah.
would get us there the quickest would be establishment figures being like, okay, I'm on board
Yeah.
with big time progressive change now.
Big time.
It's what my constituents want. It's what they need. It's what I want to do anyway. I don't want to be restricted by this bullshit attitude of like, oh, well, we can't get this done. We can't get that done. It's like, no, come on. We're America. We can get whatever we need to done. We can, if we could commercialize space travel, then we can solve our inner city poverty problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. Um, I mean, ha- so there's been Ro Khanna, there's been Pramila Jayapal. Have there been, and there's been Maxwell Frost. Have there been any other like prominent
Some labor unions people, some local people, like
political
they have to
figures?
do their, people that like help make the event happen kind of thing.
Sure,
So
sure.
that's what they've been doing here. Let me go back over here. But yeah, no, those are the names that I jumped on once I saw Ro Khanna get on the stage because I really like Ro a lot.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm surprised Joan Baez is still around. Like that's a name from like the '60s. Pretty crazy.
We're gonna be careful with that copyright strike.
No, of course. Yeah, get the stream taken down.
Still want to hear some Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I would come out to is Rage Against the Machine, dude.
yeah.
Fucking fire me up. Let's do this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to come to a peaceful event and feel good about the sense of community.
Wow, look at all those people. That is a
Right.
shitload of people.
It really is. Holy fuck.
Wow, good for them.
Bringing the energy to is like pretty essential.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
No kidding. Yeah.
That's great. Good for them. They got a lot of people. Who's coming up next?
See what
Yeah.
we got.
These things last forever. They got started at 10:30 this morning. They've been going for 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you get to good?
Yeah. I think if I'm not mistaken, if I was looking at the schedule, if I remember correctly, I think they're doing L.A. now, and then they're going right to
Yeah,
Bakersfield or
they're
something like
going.
this evening.
No, so they're going to fight oligarchy. They're going to Montana. Let's see, where are they going? They're going to LA, then they're going to Salt Lake tomorrow. They're going to Idaho Monday, then they're going to Bakersfield Tuesday, Folsom, your neck of the woods, on Tuesday, and
Folsom?
then Folsom, and then Missoula, Montana on April 16th.
The website's Fighting Oligarchy.
Yeah, no, it's just BernieSanders.com/oligarchy.
Okay. BernieSanders.com. Find an event near you. Bakersfield, Folsom. Okay. So they must have changed it because before it said
Was in Stockton.
no, it said Auburn, which
Auburn.
I think is somewhat near. Let's see. Yeah, no, it's different. It's even closer to me now. So
Sweet.
they were gonna do it in Auburn, which is just north of Folsom Lake, but now they're doing it in Folsom proper off of Route 50, which is just south of Folsom Lake. Cool. I mean that works. That works for me. Shit.
Yeah, you'll have to bring your you're going to be competing for data, so you'll probably not be able to
Yeah.
live stream. You're going to try to. I know you're going to try to live stream. Good luck with that.
Right. Yeah. We'll at least stream like maybe some of it and just see how
Or
it
just if you can't,
turns out.
if you have problems streaming, just get video and capture what you can.
Sure. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll definitely do that. Let's do like a little like, hey, I'm here at the Bernie rally, fighting oligarchy rally, and it's good vibes all around, and yeah, because I got some friends that are going too.
She's fighting every day to build a future.
What the fuck?
For all, please welcome April Verrett.
April Verrett.
Hello, Los Angeles.
SEIU.
Yeah, she's SEIU. Yeah,
I said hello.
that's a very important. That's a very important
Union.
union in California.
To be home.
I see.
I am indeed April Verrett. And I
Can you hear that? Okay.
It needs to be a little louder.
I can't turn it up.
No?
No, not for me.
No, that's lame.
Here, let me try this.
In our hospitals, in our schools, in our airports, and in our city halls, like that one right across the street.
Yeah, if anything, like
I
they
want you
could
all to take a second
boost the volumes.
around you. Because this is what power looks like. This right here, this is what the oligarchs fear the most. They fear
No, no,
They feel people coming together
no, they don't.
across every line
No.
they have drawn to divide us.
This is the first step, not the second step. They fear the second step,
And
which is the people rallying together to actually do something.
fighters who have been, they
Yeah,
are
like a
not
general
necessarily
strike or something like
fighters
that.
who have been calling out the billionaire
Yeah,
class.
exactly.
Thank you to all of the elected officials and leaders standing
I just don't want to hear the left pat itself on the back for getting a bunch of people together for a rally. It's nothing. It's a start. It's it.
Yeah, I mean,
And most
that's kind of what I expect the most. I mean, especially if it's not like
every one of you, thank you.
a political
You are the
campaign
reason
or,
we are going to win.
you know, I mean, it's not like a run for office or something like that. It's just a get together.
To right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. So I'm gonna let this little light of mine shine. Can we do that? Because when billionaires can buy elections while workers can't pay the rent, that's corruption. When corporations make record profits while communities go hungry, that is exploitation. When the Supreme Court strips away union rights while handing power to the wealthy, that is tyranny.
Yeah, yeah, like fucking union power is being
Our politics exploitation of everywhere
unilaterally
is
stripped
tyranny
away.
in our courts. Y'all, these are not separate issues. They are symptoms of diseases. And those diseases, corporate greed, racism, and white supremacy. And today, these diseases have metastasized into a cancer that is infecting our democracy. And we know what that cancer is. It is oligarchy. And we're not going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to whitewash it. We're not going to tiptoe around it. We are going to confront it, and we're going to take it head on. So let's talk about what that confrontation looks like. What's happening right here in the beautiful state of California. Just this week, Uber and Lyft drivers rallied in our state capital up in Sacramento. Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Are demanding their right to unionize under Assembly Bill 1340. These workers have been denied their rights and their dignity for far too long, for more than a decade.
Yeah, because Uber and Lyft fucking lobbies the California state
Yeah.
government to
Not let them unionize.
Yeah, exactly.
Prop 22 from a few years ago, you remember that?
Yeah, Prop 22. That was the thing.
Spent $200 million to lock in exploitation.
Yeah.
We're trying to call it innovation, but we know what it is. We know what it is for too many workers. It's meant instability, and it has not meant freedom. So
Yeah.
drivers like Indira, where's Indira? Drivers like Indira are fighting back. And Indira and over 40,000 of her co-workers, drivers across California, have already signed up, ready to join SEIU, California Gig Workers Union.
Well, that's good.
Because they know the truth. They know the truth that this ish, I'm going to try not to cuss. They know that this ish.
Wow, it's finally turning up.
It's just the same old exploitation. You all, a few weeks ago, I returned.
Go mute when you do that.
Oh,
I spent
yeah.
time on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Sacred ground in our fight for justice. It was the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. And standing on that bridge, it was really clear to me we are still fighting the same fight. The same forces that met those civil rights marchers on that bridge with batons, they're now in boardrooms. And instead of batons, they are yielding algorithms. And they are signing executive orders. Different tactics, but the same old oppression. And in Alabama, in Montgomery, at the legacy sites, I saw the through line, y'all. The through line from the transatlantic slave trade through mass incarceration to the shit show that is happening right now in our country. And that through line is the same. It is dividing us by race to control us by class.
Yeah.
They are dividing us by race to control us by class. So no, hell no. We cannot talk about economic justice without talking about racial justice. The powerful have always used race and class together because they need both to maintain their control. And if the rules are rigged to keep us divided and down, then what do we have to do, y'all? We only got one job. It is to change the damn rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you gotta win the game with the way the rules are written now, though.
Americans hold more wealth than half the country. 3 of them. Just 3 Americans hold wealth in more than half the country. It's time to change the damn rules.
Hey, Megan. It's great to see you. GG logging on before I'm drunk on Saturday is impressive. Yeah. Yeah, same here. I'll be going to 2 different shows tonight. Actually hit up the gym this morning. First time in over a week. It was great.
About single parents who don't have to work 3 jobs to survive. Changing the damn rules so no one has to choose between medicine and food. Changing the damn rules. So hear me. So no one has to live in the shadows. Changing the damn rules so that our democracy responds to the people and not the wealthy few. So anybody here want to roll with me? Anybody here want to get grimy with me?
Not really, no.
Space is really quiet. Yeah, there's not much we can do about that, Megan. It's the levels being broadcasted from the actual live stream itself are just way too quiet. We have it at full volume too.
Yeah, I've been messing around with the settings, trying to find a better way to do it. I could try to do it through Safari.
Yeah.
No, I can't though because it has to be on Chrome.
Is there another feed that we can probably tune into, or is this just like the lone feed?
I don't know. Let me see.
do because our lives depend on it. The third thing we got to do, and this is an important one, we must exercise our power. Exercise our power. Because though they try to act like we don't have it, we know that we do. We got to own the fact that we do have power. Know that we do. We got to own the fact that we do have power. And when we use it collectively with one another, transformation happens.
Do the best I can do.
Workplaces, it happens in our community, it happens in our economy.
Dang.
In our democracy. Because when we organize, when we mobilize, when we
God, I really got to get on the coaching staff here.
the people
Right. Yeah.
30 minutes or less with these people, and I can transform them into superior communicators.
Right.
They do not know how. It's so for. Anyway, I don't know. I'm really hard to please when it comes to political performance.
Right. You guys weren't much louder than it. I could probably turn my volume up. The difference is too much right now. Yeah.
Because we're loud. I can turn it down. I can turn us down.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll turn down my mic by like 40. How about that? You still kind of hear me, but you probably just have to turn me up.
I should be softer now.
Yes, it's a lot better.
Their corruption and more enduring than their tyranny. Let's rise up, Los Angeles. Let's lock arms, Los Angeles. Let's change the damn rules.
I'm down for that.
Let us get free and let's go get it together. I love you.
Not much of a difference. All right, I'll lower mine a bit more.
I went to 100 on my StreamYard volume.
I went to 60.
Okay.
Yeah, you're still a bit loud.
A little bit loud. I'll go to 60. All right. Well,
All right, well.
who's next?
Yeah, let's see.
I think they turned it down from their end.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. I mean,
Going back to music. Come on, guys. Ugh, let's hear Bernie and AOC already.
right.
A little electric guitar. I'm down with that.
Yeah, me too. Put me up there. God damn.
Yeah, you're an electric guitarist, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your brand? Gibson?
Yeah, I guess you can call it. I mean, it's an Epiphone. They're basically like a budget Gibson. I have an SG. I got a few other guitars too, an Ibanez.
Electric guitars are wicked expensive, right? They're like $1,000, $1,500.
If you want like a Pro Series one, yeah.
Yeah.
How are the levels, Megan? Yeah, I got a few of them. LTD, couple LTDs, Schecter. I'm looking to buy an ESP from a guy in Livermore next weekend.
Oh, it's Neil Young. Nice.
Oh wow.
Doesn't get any better than Neil Young, man. I know my
Yeah.
it's funny, my public speaking professor in college was like best friends with Neil Young.
No shit.
Yeah, he loved him. He was a good friend of his.
That's
He
hella
passed
cool.
away He passed away a little while ago. He was a veteran public speaking coach. He coached a lot of congressmen and senators.
Oh really?
Taught me a lot about the art of communication and how to make sure people remember what you say, not just get
Yeah.
excited. but remember what
Yes.
you say, because if they don't remember what you say and take it with them, then what the fuck was the point?
Right. Exactly. It's one thing to get people all riled up, but make it memorable. You know.
Like that's what drives me nuts about Gavin Newsom is he's actually got some talent in terms of drawing attention and making points, but no one remembers anything he stands for because he doesn't stand for the only thing he stands for is likability.
Right.
He just wants everyone to like him.
Exactly.
And that pisses people off.
Right.
That's one thing that I like about American culture is like if you're trying to impress me, then I'm going to be the opposite of impressed. Like people want authenticity in this country.
Right. Yeah. He's standing for this like return, like RTO, return to office policy, and it's just like, why, dude? Fucking.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, I'm talking about Gavin Newsom.
Oh yeah.
Return to office policy that he wants California to embrace.
Tell me about it.
He is it's basically like no more remote work, like no more working from home, pretty much. Like he's basically like ordering people to go back to
office.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's a policy being adopted by, you know, California at large, and it's just like, dude, the overwhelming majority of jobs are in the greater Los Angeles area and the Bay Area, you know, Silicon Valley and
San
what have
Diego.
you. And San Diego, yeah. I mean, you probably have some luck in Sacramento as well, but it's just like, yeah, that's a commute for a lot of people, and those areas are really fucking expensive to live in. So like remote
gas is cheap.
Yeah, and so remote work is pretty essential for people to like maintain a decent standard of living. Yet,
Right.
like you want to like implement a policy that forces people to fucking commute an hour and a half, 2 hours to work every day. It's just like, go fuck yourself, dude.
Yep.
Megan says, my public speaking professor was nerdy, dude with glasses. Communications teacher was a muscle bro. Always thought it was funny. Yeah. How do we sound, Megan, in comparison to the feed?
Well, I turned it down. Like this is as loud as it gets.
Okay. In comparison to this, as long as like our shit is balanced. Let me see. Go ahead and say something.
Check 1 2. Neil Young is my hero. Keep on rocking in the free world. See, that's what he should be singing right now. He should have. It should be him and Pearl Jam. It should be him and Pearl Jam going rocking free in the free world, dude.
Yeah, Megan says we're much better leveled now. On my end, you're still a little bit loud, but
me? Okay.
Yeah,
I can turn it down just a little bit more.
Cool. But yeah, compared to the feed, it's a hell of a lot better now.
Take America back.
Yeah. I wonder how many people were there. I mean, because like if he's breaking records, if this tour is like breaking records for attendance for.
Oh hell yeah!
He's playing
He's doing it.
He's doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. I wish I could turn this up. All right. We should just not talk.
Sure. Yep.
Do. Keep on rocking in the free world.
Yeah. How old is he now?
We're gonna have Maggie come up.
Oh, nice. Dude. Oh, with the harmonies too, hell yeah. Neil Young is 79. Damn. You've got a flyer on his Instagram.
Who's the greatest guitarist of all time?
Oh,
Hendrix?
God.
Jimmy Page?
I mean, they're definitely in the conversation. If I had to,
Stevie Ray Vaughan?
well, Stevie Ray Vaughan's good too. If I had to point to one guy that I would say like probably most objectively. Oh wow, they turned
There you
it
go.
up too.
There you go. They changed. They just changed it.
Nice. If it, like most objectively, obviously like Jimi Hendrix is highly regarded for a variety of reasons. But if I had to point to one guy, I would probably say Eddie Van Halen.
Really?
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah. The guy did so much.
Did he
so
sing
early on.
too? Because that's
No.
one of the things that's most impressive about Stevie Ray Vaughan. Is
Yeah,
Stevie Ray
and
Vaughan
Jimmy.
did well? No, but Jimmy Page didn't sing.
Oh no, Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix sang. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But Stevie
Yeah.
Ray Vaughan sang as well as it played, and that was
hmm
that to me is so impressive to
No.
be able to sing and jam at the same time.
That's been my thing for a long time. I'm not really able to do that. I could sing and like do acoustic chords, and sing at the same time. But when it comes to like singing and rocking, like electric guitar, like riffs and shit, like similar to how I guess you could say James Hetfield of Metallica does, like
Right.
doing that kind of shit at the same time. The
But he doesn't play lead guitar. He plays secondary guitar
yeah,
for
yeah. Well,
Metallica.
even so,
Kurt,
like,
that guy Kurt Volig or whatever his name
Kirk,
is.
Kirk Hammett, yeah. Even
He's like he's considered one of the greatest guitarists ever.
yeah, he's definitely up there. Megan says love SRV, completely agree. But yeah, like doing leads, like doing solos on guitar, like combining that with like singing, obviously is extremely difficult. But just like riffing away, like blues riffing, rock riffing, whatever, doing that at the same time as singing, like for me personally, has always been difficult. But like doing like just like simple chords on the acoustic guitar and singing, that's a lot easier because all I have to do is just keep rhythm and make sure my fingers are in the right place rather than focus on like what riff am I playing,
Right.
Yeah.
Take America back. Take America,
Go Neil, go.
take America back. Bring America back.
All right. Let's get to some speeches.
Bring America
Yeah.
back.
See what AOC and Bernie Sanders have.
2:00. I would have thought they'd be on by now.
Yeah, no kidding. That's how they promoted it. Excuse me. I could have been at the gym a bit longer. But it was fine though. I got.
Well,
decent
when I
workout
saw they put Ro Khan on, I was like, okay, now they're getting into the names. So I thought maybe they'd
Yeah.
stick with it like a boxing match where every name gets bigger. But
in. Right? Yeah.
Nope.
Him and Pramila Jayapal. Like, yeah. Like those are a couple of the biggest names in the Democratic Party right now, especially in terms of progressives.
Take America back.
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 how about take the party back?
America back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a rough ass week. I lost. I got my backpack stolen, and it had a couple of my devices in it, and
Thanks for being here.
some old notebooks,
Thanks for being
and
so
it's just
very
all
nice weekend.
completely vanished. My iPod in particular had hundreds of recordings over the years, a lot of them being like song ideas and shit, and it's just like whatever is not backed up on my computer, I'll never be able to recover again. It's been really rough.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. But I was up there in Sacramento, which is where I got taken off. I mean, I made two big mistakes. I didn't leave my backpack at home because I didn't have any use for it. I didn't take the extra steps to just leave it in the apartment. And my second mistake was I left my car unlocked. That's the only way that the backpack could have been taken, because my car wasn't broken into or anything. I probably just forgot to unlock. I forgot to lock my car, so it's just like, yeah, real frustrating. But this is the main guitar I use. It's a Epiphone SG. Is it a custom? No, it's a special SG model. It feels good. It's lightweight, which is really appealing to me, and it's real nice. I need to
There's
cut
the
these
doll.
Hey, OC.
It's the dime.
Here we go. All right.
How are we feeling, Lily?
Let's do full volume.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you all so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
I want to thank each and every one of you for making the effort to be here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Cool.
And
Everybody's
quickly,
got their
I'd
phones
love to also thank some of our excellent members of Congress who have joined us here today. We've got Judy Chu, Nanette Barragan, Gil Cisneros, Jimmy Gomez, Sidney Kamlager Dove, Luz Rivas. Of course, you also heard from Pramila Jayapal and Ro Khanna earlier today. Thank you all so much.
Cool.
My name is Alexandria, and some of you may know me as AOC.
Mm-hmm.
And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for welcoming me to Los Angeles. And also, happy Passover to all of our friends celebrating this weekend. Thank you. You know, we're all here together because we share in the frustration and heartache that comes from watching those in power actively tear down or refuse to fight for everyday working Americans like us. And we are here together because an extreme concentration of power, greed, and corruption is taking over this country like never before. Oligarchy in America. And
Yeah.
we must acknowledge the terrifying moment that we are in right now. And that what we are hearing and seeing with our own eyes is, in fact, happening. We are watching our neighbors, students, and friends being fired, targeted, and disappeared. It is real. People we love are being targeted and harassed for being trans or queer. Our coworkers, U.S. citizens and immigrants alike, are being disappeared off the street by men in vans with no uniform.
Literally happening. This is actually fucking happening in America.
Educators are being fired for teaching American history accurately, and activists are being detained with no charge or evidence for using their First Amendment rights, especially when they use them for Palestinians.
Yep. That's literally it.
In fact, the Trump administration admits that it has jailed Mahmoud Khalil, a young husband and father from New York, without any evidence or charge of a crime. The Trump administration admits that they have thrown Mahmoud in a cell thousands of miles away because he attended a protest, and are detaining him for the content of his speech and nothing more.
Yeah, and the judge
In fact-
upheld it too. It's fucking ridiculous.
In fact, Donald Trump's detention of someone like Mahmoud Khalil for his speech is anti-American. And we demand his release, along with the release of Rumeysa Ozturk, who he is also jailing for writing an op-ed in her school paper. And we demand their release because we, Los Angeles, we do have power in this moment. All of us do, and everyday people do. In fact, you all showed that this week, LA. A few days ago, ICE officials attempted to enter 2 LAUSD schools to target kids.
Oh.
They lied to school officials and claimed that they had parents' permission to get to these children when they didn't. But it wasn't just a lawyer or a judge that said no. It started with everyday people, school staff and employees who spoke up when they felt something was off.
Yep.
And it was the teachers and principals that stood strong and said no to protect their kids when it could have been easier to say yes out of fear.
Yes.
You defended them, LA, because it will never be just institutions and officials alone that uphold our democracy. It will always be the people, the masses, who refuse to comply with authoritarian regimes, who are the last and strongest defense of our country and our freedoms. Because we know, Los Angeles, that a better world is possible, and we are willing to do something about it. But to get there, we need to be honest about how we got to this place. Because this moment did not come out of nowhere. It has been a long time coming. The destruction of our rights and democracy is directly tied to the growing and extreme wealth inequality that has been building for years in America.
Bingo.
This is
not a
where
coincidence that billionaires like Elon Musk.
this is where I'd like to
dumped
see them go all the way
billions
back
of
to
dollars
1980.
in this election to
Like
elect
this is where I was saying
Trump.
like this started this entire
And
approach
I'll
to
tell you,
government
LA,
started 45
he
years
sure
ago.
as hell isn't doing that out of charity. For years, we have known that our political system has slowly but surely become dominated by big money and billionaires. Time after time, we have seen and experienced how our government and laws are more responsive to lobbyists than to the will of everyday people. And we also know that the agenda of dark money to keep wages low and to loot our public goods to give to the rich is deeply unpopular with people of all backgrounds, all parties, and all places.
Yeah.
Just look at what Republicans have been quietly doing in Congress. They have been voting just this week to advance cuts on hundreds of billions of dollars from Medicaid and veterans benefits and Social Security, so that they can take that money and give it to the billionaires who elected them in the form of tax cuts and sweetheart government contracts to companies like SpaceX.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be great for our fucking interest rates and our national
And you
debt.
know who voted for that from California, by the way? David Valadao of California's 22nd, Young
Gross.
Kim of California's 40th, and Ken Calvert of California's 41st.
Get them out.
They know that that's not what you want. They know that it is deeply unpopular. They know that it hurts you, but they are not here to serve us. They are here to serve themselves and the billionaires who have paid them, oligarchy. And they know that the only chance they have to get away with such an unpopular agenda, to get away with stealing in plain view, is to stoke deep divisions among us along lines of race, identity, and culture, to keep us fighting and distracted.
Bingo.
This has been the big money playbook, not just now, but for decades. And that is why Donald Trump is not an aberration. He is the logical, inevitable conclusion of an American political system dominated by corporate and dark money.
That's it. It's
And
capitalism.
if we are here to defeat him, we must defeat the system that created him. Money in politics is the hands of oligarchy, Los Angeles.
Yes.
And we are at a crossroads. We can either have extreme wealth inequality with the toxic division and corruption that it requires to survive, or we can have a fair economy that guarantees health care to all for working people, along with a democracy and freedoms that uphold it. Oligarchy or democracy, but we cannot have both. Los Angeles, I've made my choice. We must fight the oligarchy that has created this nightmare. And that is why I have never taken money from lobbyists or corporations, and it's why I never will.
Good.
You know, when I first got to Congress, I was genuinely shocked by how this place worked. Even having run against dark money on a campaign against it in the first place. The everyday influence of corruption and dark money was astonishing, how normalized it is. In fact, Congress and members of Congress have somehow conditioned itself to actually believe that it is normal for elected representatives who swear an oath to the American people to day trade individual stocks that make millions with the sensitive information that we are entrusted with for the purpose of governing. How can anyone possibly make an objective vote on healthcare, energy, or war when their personal money is tied up in pharmaceutical, oil and gas, or defense company stocks?
No shit.
They can't. You can't. And we saw this play out this week with Trump's corrupt and disastrous tariff scheme.
Yep.
I hope that we all see now that the White House's tariff shuffle here didn't have anything to do with manufacturing like they claimed.
No.
It was about manipulating the markets.
Yep.
It was about hurting retirees and everyday people in the sell-off so Trump could quietly enrich his friends who he nudged to buy the dip before reversing it all in the morning.
That's literally exactly what happened.
Yep.
Donald Trump is a criminal.
Yep.
A criminal found guilty of 34 felony counts of fraud. Of course, he is lying and manipulating the stock market too.
No shit.
He is at his best making himself, the billionaires who back him, and the members of Congress who trade with him rich. Not you, not me, not the people.
Yep.
And to be clear, I don't care what party you are, Democrat or Republican. I don't care what position one holds. Members of Congress and elected officials holding and trading individual stock is wrong. It must end, and we must ban it.
Yeah.
But I'll give you another example of how shocking and casual this all was when I was first elected. Just this year, I was named and appointed to the powerful Energy and Commerce Committee. This is one of the most powerful committees in all of Congress. And for years, lobbyists worked to keep me off this committee. It oversees 2/3 of the American economy: healthcare, energy, technology, trade. As they say in Congress, if it moves, it's energy. If it doesn't, it's commerce. And that's the jurisdiction of this committee. And an interesting thing that happened was that the day I was named to this committee, the same day, my office's phones rang off the hook and our inboxes were flooded by every corporate lobbyist under the sun. They all wanted to be my best friend. But you know what, Los Angeles? because of your support, because of you all showing up, because I don't have to take a dime in corporate money, you allow me to say no.
Yeah.
But not everyone is so lucky. I have seen firsthand
Maybe
how
that
these
would be cool,
groups
Megan.
bully and pressure members of Congress, threatening to either take money away or spend it against them if they don't do what they want. And what they want is for our lives to be as expensive as possible
Yep.
on the lowest possible wage.
I
It
thought that
all
was a White
trickles
House thing,
down
Megan.
to how life feels for working people today. These facts of life, the feeling of the water rising up to our throats, the impossibility to afford anything easily, the fear of speaking up, the deeply bitter and toxic division driven more by algorithms on social media than individual thought, the crumbling of our rights and protections. Understand that all of this is what it means and what it feels like to be governed by billionaires. This is what oligarchy feels like, and it only will get worse until we act. It is this system that relies on division to legislate greed that has brought us the most corrupt administration in American history and the Republican majorities to support it. Big money is how we got Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And his whole presidency began with launching tools for bribery, meme coins to fleece working people and move around money in the dark, extortion settlements from media companies and law firms who gladly pay them. The removal of duly elected officials on Inauguration Day. Donald Trump removed duly elected officials from the chamber in order to make space for who's really in charge who were the billionaires who sat behind him. They have one central economic mission: to make billionaires richer at the expense of the United States of America. And it does not surprise us that their first economic mission has been to target Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, to fire our federal workers, and fleece and abandon our veterans so that they can hand that money off to the billionaires who are backing them.
Yep.
But this isn't just about the Republican attacks on working people, LA. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us too.
Yeah, stop trying to be Republican
and that
light.
means our communities, all of us coming together, choosing and voting for Democrats and elected officials who know how to stand for the working class. And LA, I want to thank you for working very hard and doing your best to try to make that happen. In fact, last month, when other Democrats caved, your senators, Alex Padilla and Adam Schiff, stood strong against the DC pressure and voted against the Republican spending bill to cut billions for working people. In fact, all of your Democratic members of Congress and all of your members here today voted against that bill too. Defend them, LA, and don't stop there.
Did they vote against
I want you to
Schumer's
look
move, though?
at every level of office around and support Democrats who actually fight, because those are the ones who can actually defeat Republicans. So, folks, you know what that means.
Do they?
We have to start working now to give David Valadao, Young Kim, and Ken Calvert the boot and replace them with a brawling Democrat who will stand for the working people of California.
There we go. Yeah.
But
Kick 'em
beyond
out.
elections, LA, our task is to build community. Block associations, volunteer groups, church organizations, PTAs, activist organizations, because community is the most powerful building block we have to defeat authoritarianism and root out corruption.
Yeah.
This is the path to guaranteeing health care to every American, to establish a living minimum wage, to take on skyrocketing rents and mortgages, to tackle the climate crisis, and establish a country where the American dream is actually possible for all of us. I come from a working class family. My mom cleaned houses, my dad worked to start a small business, and they worked so hard just to make life possible a little bit better for my brother and I. And when I was a teenager, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. He passed away before I was even 20 years old. And the rug was pulled out from us, all in the middle of the 2008 recession.
Jeez.
So many of us live like this. One accident, one bad day, one piece of bad news away from our lives falling apart. We don't have to live like this anymore, Los Angeles. We can stand with one another and stand for ourselves. And we might come from different places, but we share the same experiences. So to all who came here today unsure of whether this is where you belong, I want to say that you do. No matter if you have all the right words to say, no matter your race, religion, gender identity, or status, no matter if you disagree with me on some things, but if you are willing to fight for someone that you don't know, you are welcome here. If you are willing to fight for working people regardless of who they are, how they identify, you are welcome here. Because here, everyone is valued. But we have to stand together. We cannot be tempted to turn in our neighbors or be fooled into thinking that we are really that much different from a trans kid who wants to get accepted by their friends. That we're that different from a dreamer who worked to go to college and try to provide for their family. That we're that different from anyone who's not like us. Hate is a trap that sinks us all. And it is standing together without exception to reject
Without
division.
exception?
That is the only way we can win. It's the only way we can win. So I hope you see
I don't know about
that
this.
this movement is not about partisan labels or purity tests, but it's about class solidarity.
Yeah.
It is about the thousands of you who came out here today to stand together and say our lives deserve dignity and our work deserves respect. No matter who we are here to make a sacred promise to each other. And our goal today is to commit to building the kind of country we all deserve. And we will make that promise to take care of each other on our worst days and to share in the successes of our best. Thank you so much, Los Angeles. And it is my honor here today to introduce someone who has dedicated his life to bringing us together. So let's get loud and let's be grateful because Senator Bernie Sanders is in the building.
Hell
Come
yeah.
on down, Bernie.
Megan's being cheeky. She says, "Shut up, Dieter. She's cooking."
Yeah, the only thing that concerns me about AOC sentiments there is that they're too inclusive. Is that it's just like, oh, everybody is welcome. It's like, no, we got to say, no, there's a good third of the voting public here that is a problem. And they're never going to vote Democrat no matter what, whether it be because of abortion, whether it be because of the racism, the xenophobia,
Sure.
whatever. And so I love this, like, everybody, let's get together and have solidarity. That sounds good. Class solidarity, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
But the Confederate flag waving, Bible beating gun nuts are never going to be on your team. The heartless one percenters are never going to be on your team.
Sure.
Like, You know, there needs
Yeah.
to be some divisiveness. There needs to be some divisiveness.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like I don't disagree with that, but like I guess if I was in a position of like that she's in and preaching the message of inclusivity and whatnot, I would feel like a hypocrite if I made any sort of gesture like, oh, except these particular people. Like, yeah, like in an environment like this, the unity, the solidarity is like the primary message. But like
Mhm.
I think even they know, like, yeah, there are people that are too far gone and they aren't welcome here, especially if like they're not going to be with us and with our message,
Right.
and are willing to fight alongside us because they realize that they're wrong. Like there's a line to
And there's
walk
also
there,
the
but
role, there's the ethos issue here too, where it's like, who do you want to be the attack dog? Do you want AOC to be the attack dog, or do you want Bernie to be the attack dog? I think we're going to hear Bernie be the attack dog here in a minute.
Sure.
And it's just like who is playing what roles.
yeah,
But
yeah,
and so, you know, AOC is like a lover. She's not, and she is a fighter too, but
sure.
it's probably better to have her servicing the unity of the left rather than the attacking of the right. But that is the
Yeah.
big missing component for me, is
Sure.
where's the attack on the right, and not just the right-wing politicians, but the right-wing voters that put them in power.
Someone that is there to actually like call out and attack the right for everything they do. Like everything that you've been saying, everything that you've been doing when it
Right.
comes to like your essays and whatnot. There definitely does need to be figures like that. Are AOC and Bernie Sanders those particular figures? I wouldn't think so. And Megan makes a good point here. Purity tests hurt public perception of Democrats. Class uprising is a base as fuck take. Yeah, I agree with that. All right,
All right, let's hear what
Mr.
Bernie has to say.
Yeah, let's fucking do it. It's the man.
Unbelievable! There are people a half a mile away.
That's insane.
Let me.
Bernie,
Nope.
Bernie. He's like,
Wearing a
nope.
Dodgers
It's not
hat.
Bernie, it is you.
Yeah. How dare he?
Let me thank our brothers and sisters in the trade union movement for being here.
I hope he wears a San Francisco hat when he
Let me
comes up
thank
here.
Unite Here, Liuna Local 724, ILWU, the Longshoremen, CNA nurses,
83 years
NNN
old.
nurses, NUHW Kaiser nurses, UTLA, UAW, California Labor Federation, AFL-CIO. And today we pledge with our brothers and sisters in the trade union movement, we are going to grow the movement. Millions of workers want to join unions because they know they're going to get better wages, better benefits, better working conditions. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I want to thank the musicians who have been with us today. So great. Ray's Gospel Choir, thank you. The Red Pears, Jeff Rosenstock, Indigo
Jeff
D'Souza,
Rosenstock.
Dirty Projectors, Joan Baez,
Oh, wait.
Maggie Rogers, Neil Young. And you know why we had all of these great musicians here today? It's not just to entertain you. It's more than that. We're going to
Jesus.
make our revolution
Lord.
with joy. We're going to sing and dance our way to victory against hatred and divisiveness.
Sure.
I want to thank all of the musicians who have been with us.
You're gonna be dancing
And I want
tonight.
to thank the political leaders who have been here,
Like, actually, yeah.
Roe and Pramila and Jimmy. Thank you. And mostly, I want to thank all of you. And I want to tell you something. You are making Donald Trump. All right, we need a medic.
They've had a lot of those today.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah, they've had a lot
Your
of those today.
presence here today.
Like people passing out.
By the way, there are some
Yeah.
36,000 of you.
This has got to be the record.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is.
this
Largest
has gotta be a
rally
record.
that we
Yeah.
have ever had.
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
record.
wow, yeah. Record.
Because it's bigger than Denver. It's a way bigger city
That's
than
right.
Denver.
Your
So.
Right.
presence here today
Right.
is making Donald Trump and Elon Musk very nervous.
Yeah, they've been talking about it.
Last time we did a rally in Denver, a little bit smaller than this. Thank you, LA. Elon Musk announced Everybody at the rally, or most of the people, were paid organizers. Anybody here get paid to come today?
God, I wish. Fuck.
And Donald Trump,
Yeah, I'd be there if they
very
did.
envious of sizes, he said, well, Bernie has rallies of 2,000 or 3,000 people, can't compete with Trump. He lied. So I invite the
Apparently it's not
president
even
to
that
come
hot
to
there
LA.
right now. It's like 73 degrees.
Tell the people here why you think it's a great idea to cut Medicaid and nutrition and health care so you can give tax breaks to billionaires. The people of LA would love to hear that. So why are we here in LA today? And the answer is obvious. We are living in a moment of extraordinary danger. And how we respond to this moment will not only impact our lives, but will impact the lives of our kids and future generations. And in terms of the climate, it will depend, we can depend on whether or not the planet Earth survives. That's why we're here today.
Me too, Megan. Love him. I'm gonna miss him.
We're living at a moment where a handful of billionaires control the economic and political life of our country. We're living at a moment with a president who has no understanding or respect for the Constitution of the United States.
Yep.
And let us make no doubt about it, moving us rapidly toward an authoritarian form of society.
Yeah.
And Mr. Trump, we ain't going there. We are living in a moment where the Republican Party has, to a large degree, become a cult of the individual, obeying Trump's every wish. And at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, right now, as we speak, they are plotting about how they can give $1.1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1% and devastate programs that working families need. You know, it's funny. Just yesterday, our good friend Elon Musk Mr. Musk sent out a tweet. And in essence, he said, you know, Bernie Sanders has been talking about the growth of oligarchy year after year after year. Well, Elon, you're damn right. That's what I've been talking about. The difference is, I'm no longer talking about how we're moving to oligarchy. I'm talking about how we are living today in an oligarchic form of society.
Yeah.
3 months ago, when Trump was inaugurated, standing right behind him during his inauguration were the three wealthiest people in this country, Mr. Musk, Mr. Bezos, and Mr. Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
And right behind them were 13 other billionaires who Trump had nominated to head up major federal agencies.
Gross. Disgusting.
Yep. Yep.
And that, brothers and sisters, is what oligarchy is all about.
Literally right. Like that's
You know,
like he just
lately,
laid it out there. That's exactly
Given
it.
what's happening in America, I've been remembering the history lessons that I learned when I was in the 6th grade. And I remember, and I think many of you will recall, when you think about your education, you'll remember hearing about Abraham Lincoln on the fields of Gettysburg in 1863. And that was just a few days after 20,000 Union soldiers had either died or been wounded fighting against the nightmare of slavery. And Lincoln looked out on that field, and this is what he said, and you will all remember it. He said, quote, we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Bada bing.
And that is precisely why we are here today, to make sure that government of, by, and for the people does not perish, and that we do not become a government of the billionaire class, by the billionaire class, and for the billionaire class. The American people do not want the richest guy on earth running all over Washington, D.C., decimating the Social Security Administration, making it harder. It's the richest guy on earth, making it harder for old people with disabilities to get the benefits that they paid into. Proposing to lay off 83,000 workers at the Veterans Administration. Denying the health care that the men and women who put their lives on the line to defend us deserve. Slashing the Department of Education. Decimating USAID, which, by the way, means that hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of the most desperate people in this world will die as a result. And when we talk about oligarchy, it is not just economics. I trust that all of you know that you are living under a corrupt campaign finance system which allows billionaires to buy elections.
Yep.
Don't tell me about democracy when Musk himself can put $270 million to elect Donald Trump and then get rewarded with the most important position in government.
Yeah.
But it's not just Musk and Republicans. It's the Democratic Party as well.
Yeah.
Their billionaires tell candidates, don't stand up to the powerful special interest. And too many Democrats are listening to them.
Yep.
And that is why if we want to preserve democracy in America, we've got to overturn this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision.
It's Megan's wheelhouse right there.
And we got to
Total
move to
agreement with
public
us.
funding of elections.
Public funding of elections, yes. I'll never forget the first time I heard him telling about
one person, one vote,
campaign finance
not
system being
billionaires
corrupt.
buying elections. And let me tell you something about the oligarchs. They are very, very religious people. But their
They worship
religion
capitalism.
is not based on doing unto others.
We've talked about this on the
as you would
podcast.
have
Oh,
them
yeah.
do unto you. Their religion is not based on love or justice.
Yeah.
Their religion is based on greed, greed, and more greed.
Yeah.
Conservative capitalism.
All over this country, in Vermont, California,
Narcissism.
all over this country, we have a serious problem with drug addiction, with alcoholism, with other forms
Yep.
of addiction.
Yep.
But
Oh,
in my honest
right here.
opinion, the most serious addiction crisis we face is the addiction of the oligarchy toward greed. They got billions and billions of dollars. It's not enough. They need more. And if they have to step on the poor and the disabled and working class people, that is what they will do unless we stop them, and we will stop them.
That's right, Megan. Fuck Citizens
But
United.
it's not just oligarchy we are fighting. We're fighting. Okay. EMT.
Another one?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. People
Yeah,
just getting
what's
too
going on?
excited. What is this, a Robin Williams stand-up
Raise
special?
your hand where the problem is. Okay, we got somebody there?
People would literally have to go to the
Got it,
hospital
somebody?
from
Okay, thank you.
stand-up from Robin Williams stand-up comedy.
Because of how hard they laughed? Or
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
insane. That's crazy. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
But it's
Yeah.
not just oligarchy we are fighting. We're fighting a president who undermines our Constitution every day.
Drink your water,
and
people.
threatens our freedom of speech and assembly, and whose agents are rounding up innocent people off the streets, putting them in unmarked vans, and throwing them in detention centers.
Fucking horrifying. Wonder how many
That
retaliates.
is
Good
what
question.
happens in dictatorships, not democracies.
Yep.
And we're going to stop
not even hot
that
there either.
outrageous action on the part of the president.
Yeah, fucking insane.
You know, our founding fathers of this country were no dummies. They wrote a constitution and established a form of government with a separation of powers. Remember we're reading all about that?
Oh, this is just water
You got a
fans.
legislative body, Congress.
Not
You got
much
an
shade there,
executive
you know.
branch, president. You got a judiciary, the federal courts. And they wrote that document because they had just fought a brutal war against the autocratic King of England. And what they understood as they were forming this new country, that they never wanted to see a nation where one person had unlimited power.
No kidding.
Well, Trump wants that power. We are not giving it to him. Trump is suing the media because they say bad things about him. Oh, how horrible is that? He has sued ABC, CBS, Meta, the Des Moines Register. His FCC is investigating NPR and PBS. He loves the media when they fawn over him, but he can't take criticism. This from a guy who has made vulgar comments about his opponents. Hey, Mr. President, if you can't take criticism, get out of politics. That's what democracy is about. Trump is going after the powers of Congress. He is illegally abolishing agencies that Congress created. He's withholding funding that Congress has appropriated. He is establishing tariffs that he has no legal right to do.
Yeah, it should be through Congress. Yeah, that's right, Megan.
But it's not just the media in Congress
No wind.
that he's trying to intimidate. In an absolutely outrageous and unconstitutional way, he is going after the judiciary. His view is if a decision comes down from a judge that you don't like, you try to get rid of that judge and impeach him or her. He is going after law firms that have opposed him and his interest in the past, and disgracefully, a number of these law firms have caved in. He is going after universities. You know, the function of a university, school of higher education, is to pursue the truth, not to cave in to an authoritarian president to protect the federal grants they get.
Yeah.
But it is not just Trump's and his administration's domestic policy that we should be concerned about. For the first time in our 250-year history, we have a president who is aligning himself with dictatorship abroad.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Trump, Ukraine did not start that war. Putin and Russia did.
Yeah.
We must lead the world in supporting democracies, not supporting Putin and dictatorships. And let me tell you something else. Trump wants over $8 billion more dollars to go to Netanyahu's war machine. Israel has a right to defend itself against terrorism, but it does not have a right to go to war against the entire Palestinian people.
Right.
It does not have the right to kill 50,000 people, injure over 100,000, and destroy the entire infrastructure.
Yeah.
And as bad as that is, Trump wants to expel the 2.2 million people in Gaza in order to create a playground for his billionaire friends. That is beyond insane, and we will never, never let that happen. Brothers and sisters, not just oligarchy and authoritarianism. Our job right now, at a time when the very richest people in America are becoming phenomenally richer, our job is to create an economy that works for all of us, not just the people on top. All right, I'm going to do something radical here. You ready? I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to talk about what's really going on in America today, and that is we are living with two Americas. One America, the people on top, have never, ever in the history of our country had it so good. Today, we have more income and wealth inequality than we have ever had. The three wealthiest people own more wealth than the bottom half of American society, 170 million people. The top 1%, 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 90%, and the CEOs of major corporations now earn 300 times what their workers are making. Is there a medical issue?
Another
All
one.
right, we need an EMT there. Raise your hand, guys.
Yeah, Megan says 77, no wind, 50% humidity. So it is pretty warm there. Good thing they're perceptive.
But it's not just
Yeah.
income and wealth inequality. We have more concentration of ownership today than we have ever had. We have a handful of corporations owning sector and sector of our economy. So that is one America. People on top doing phenomenally well. Let me tell you about the other America that you know very, very well. And that is that 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. Anybody here living paycheck to paycheck? All right, unlike Donald Trump, I grew up in a family that lived paycheck to paycheck, so I know a little bit about that. And the result of living paycheck to paycheck is such, if you can believe it, that working class people in America die 7 years earlier than the rich.
No kidding.
All right, going to ask you a question. Why is that?
Healthcare.
All right, you got it. The answer is stress. If you got to worry every single day how you're going to feed your kids, how you're going to pay the rent, how you're going to make sure that your car doesn't break down so you can get to work, how you're going to afford to provide for your kid when your kid gets sick and needs to go to a doctor, how you have to work when your schedule is changed every day and you have a boss who doesn't care about you. When you live under those conditions day after day, year after year, it eats away at your body, it eats away in your mind. We need to create an economy where all of our people can live out their life expectancy in the way that they should.
Yeah.
And you know why people all over this country are angry? In fact, some of them end up voting for Trump. Let me tell you something you don't hear much about in the corporate media or in the halls of Congress. Today, if you can believe it, despite a huge increase in worker productivity, real inflation accounted for wages are lower today than they were 52 years ago.
That's right.
So workers are producing more and more, but all of what they produce, all of the benefits are going to the top 1%. And during that same period, we have seen a $75 trillion transfer of wealth from the bottom 90% to the top 1%. Today in America, half of older workers have nothing in the bank as they face retirement. And 22% of our seniors are living on $15,000 a year or less, and 800,000 Americans are sleeping out on the streets. Today, as I look at this great crowd, I remember another rally that I attended. I wasn't up here, I was way, way back. And that was in 1963. I was in Washington for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s great I Have a Dream speech. And the truth is, while many, many problems remain, we should be proud that we have made significant progress in fighting racism. And I can remember several decades ago that in the United States Senate, there were all of 2 women, virtually no women governors, no, very few women in the House. Hundreds of women died every year because they could not access legal abortions. I can remember growing up when young people who were gay were ashamed to acknowledge that and suffered in their silence. And nobody back then would have dreamed that we would achieve gay marriage in many states in this country. So my point is that we have made and should be proud of the fact that we have made progress in a number of enormously important areas. But we should also be conscious that in perhaps the most important issue, the economic struggle that so many Americans are now engaged in, we have lost ground. Back in 1944, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, one of the great presidents in the history of our country, he gave a State of the Union address. And this is what he said back in 1944. He said, you know what? We are a great country. We have a great constitution. We have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, etc.
Class C, the gasoline proposal, agree.
Is to understand that economic rights are human rights.
That's why the NCT is against them every year. That particularly, or what in particular?
That if you can't afford to go to a doctor, doesn't really matter.
Throwing back to when against suppressing.
If you can't
It's just a
afford
good move
to
to
feed your kids, freedom of assembly doesn't matter that much. He said economic rights are human rights. So today, in the year 2025, we have got to pick up that banner. Economic rights are human rights. Every single person is entitled to that.
Second Bill of Rights. Let's go. FDR. Yeah, Class 2 of these YDNC is against him. Bingo. Yeah, I think if I
This
remember
gets
correctly,
to a
he
very
handcuffed himself
fundamental
to a
issue.
black friend of his
Musk and his friends see you as nothing more than
during the Civil
workers
Rights era.
to be disposed of. They got rid of tens of thousands of federal workers, and when information, artificial information, and robotics comes, they're going to throw you out on the street as well. They don't give a damn about you.
Yeah.
They don't give a damn about your kids.
Popular.
And what we have got to do is say, sorry, we are human beings.
Unifying the blue collar workers. Yeah,
And
but he
we
lied to all
are
of them.
entitled. We are entitled to certain fundamental economic rights.
Sure.
So no, we are not going to give more tax breaks to billionaires. We're going to demand that they start paying their fair share of taxes.
Bring back the 90% top marginal rate like Sam Seether brought up on the PBD podcast.
No, we're not going to keep a federal
don't even need to do it
minimum
that
wage
big, but yeah.
of
I think so.
$7.25 an hour. We're going to raise that wage to a living wage. No worker in America should live in poverty. End of discussion.
Right. Right, I see, Megan. Yeah. He does
And we're
reach
going to
farther.
pass the PRO Act to make sure that employers cannot act illegally when workers are trying to form unions. We're going to grow the trade union movement. In America, we're not going to turn our backs on our parents and grandparents who helped build this country. We're not going to cut Social Security. We're going to expand Social Security benefits. And by the way, we're going to reestablish defined benefit pensions for workers in this America. Instead of making massive cuts to Medicaid, we must do what every other major country on earth does. It ain't radical. Health care is a human right. We're going to guarantee health care to all. Through a Medicare for all single-payer system.
Bingo.
The function of health care is not to make the insurance companies and the drug companies rich. And we're going to stop paying 10 times more for some prescription drugs than the people of other countries. We can lower prescription drugs by 50%. Here in LA, in Burlington, Vermont, and all across this country, we have a major housing crisis. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's not just homelessness. It's people paying 40, 50, 60% of their limited incomes in housing. Instead of spending $1 trillion a year on the military, let's build 5 million units of low-income and affordable housing.
Housing is definitely huge in California. Yeah, we would know, Megan. we would definitely know.
A competitive global economy.
The
You're-
biggest issue in my area.
Going to
Yeah.
effectively compete.
Megan's deep into it
We
right now
need
because she's
the
looking to
best
buy a house.
educated workforce in the world. It is nothing less than insane and counterproductive that we
4%
have young
housing is
people
wild.
leaving higher education $50,000, $80,000 in debt. We need more doctors. You know what doctors are leaving medical school with? $500,000 in debt. Nurses are leaving $100,000 in debt.
Insane.
Education is a human right from child care through college. We need sheet metal workers. We need carpenters. We need construction workers. We need apprenticeship programs.
Building housing has huge barriers in
We
California.
need to make
That's right.
public colleges,
You've told me all about it.
universities, and trade schools tuition free.
It's insane the barriers you have to go through when it comes to like building housing and
Donald Trump thinks that climate
property
change
taxes.
Yeah, and everything got more
quote-unquote
expensive to build the
hoax
housing that we need. So
originating
Exactly.
in China. This state, California, has gone through enough pain to know that climate change is not a hoax. It is an existential threat to this state, to Vermont, to the whole country, and the whole world.
Guess I'm gonna need to become an ER doctor then.
Instead of appeasing the fossil fuel industry who are lying and destroying our planet, we're going to transform our energy system and lead the world into sustainable energy and energy efficiency.
Yeah, we could become a world leader in green
And
technology,
we create
but
millions of good-paying jobs.
Not anymore. We
as
kind of
we
missed
do
the
that.
boat.
we kind of did.
Look,
Especially
Yeah,
now,
I don't
with
have
the
to
fucking
tell
tariffs
anyone
and
here
shit.
that this is a difficult moment in the modern history of our country. We've never gone through anything like this.
Trump signed
But
an
this is what
EO
I do want to say.
incentivizing
Despair
coal.
is not an option. Giving up and hiding under the covers is not acceptable.
I guess there's a big old nuclear
The
announcement
stakes
when
are
it came
just
to like.
too high.
I think the Department of Energy
And let me
announced
tell
it.
you,
Mm-hmm.
when Donald Trump looks out at this
We're gonna be
crowd and they
expanding
pay
that, which is
attention to
cool.
this stuff, and Elon Musk does, you are scaring the hell out of them.
Yeah, no shit. So fucking scary ass
Because
time.
they know what you know and what I know is that they are the 1%, we are the 99%. Back in 1857, when abolitionists were working day and night to end the nightmare of slavery, this is what Frederick Douglass, you all remember Frederick Douglass? Very great abolitionist. Listen closely to what he said, because it is as relevant today as it was back then in the fight against slavery. This is what he said, quote, "Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. Find out just when any people will quietly submit to, and you have found out the exact measure of injustice and wrong which will be imposed upon them. And these will continue till they are resisted with either words or blows or with both. The limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppress." The oligarchy will concede nothing. They have the wealth, they have the power, they own Congress, they own the White House, they own much of the media, but they don't own us. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be easy. It's not. We're going to have to fight them door to door, workplace to workplace, school to school. We're going to have to educate. We're going to have to mobilize. We're going to have to stand up in a dozen different ways. But from the bottom of my heart, and I've been to every state of this country, I don't care whether you're Republican, Democrat, or Independent, the people of this country do not want oligarchy. They do not want authoritarianism. And they want a government that works for all of us, not just the 1%. Thank you all very much.
Cool.
All right, Bernie.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, you know, the messaging is pretty predictable.
Sure. Yeah.
The messaging is pretty predictable. I wish we would
Necessary
get
re-
a little bit,
Necessary
you know,
regardless. Yeah.
a lot of talking about fighting, but I still don't know what the fighting really looks and sounds like. You know, and I think the implicit question in this whole thing is, does it go to citizen versus citizen? You know, he says they're the 1%, we're the 99%. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know about that 99% number, because 50% of that 99% is voting Republican, like no matter what, or at least 40% of that number.
When it comes to
So
voters, at least, yeah.
yeah, yeah. When it comes to voters,
Let's go forward. Let's do it.
Nice.
that's it, huh?
Everybody joining me all of a sudden. You guys are a bit late.
Yeah.
um,
So, what are your takeaways? I mean, like I said, I thought it was pretty predictable. It's good that they're doing these. I'll
yeah,
be more interested to see how they do in places like Montana and Idaho, um, with maybe a little bit more participation from the audience. I
yeah.
know that he did a town hall on CNN last night. I guess you said was that the last night or the night
Uh,
before?
I think a couple nights ago, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this could be a really useful thing, especially if they focus on areas where um, Republicans hold districts that are by when it comes to like when they're voted in uh by like small margins.
Hmm.
Convince people in those areas, in those districts, to get on board with what's being said at these rallies.
Right.
I think they can go a long way, but it is a community organizing thing. It's like just getting people together that are like minded, and
Right.
make sure everybody's on board, and they're not alone in feeling helpless, because it's a fucking terrifying world right now. So yeah, I mean, it's something like this is fucking like completely necessary to begin with, because it's like you need some sort of beacon of light, some sort of bastion of
Sure.
hope, and
Like then they're just doing community and they're saying we're in this together and class solidarity and all that good stuff.
yeah,
And I
especially
mean, it's really just
when they bring up like
good.
the fact that the Democrats aren't really doing much right now. It's just like this is where the energy should be. Like there's no energy. There's no movement. There's no like baseline rhetoric.
Mhm.
There's not even really a message right now. It's just like the Democratic Party is keeling over, and these rallies show that, like, you have a whole slew of not only messaging, but um energy, like right here. This is where it is.
Mhm.
This is where it has been for a decade now, since Bernie
Mhm.
first ran. And you haven't bothered to tap into this in any effective or meaningful way. It's like, do you even fucking care? So this keeps the establishment on their toes at the very least. Because like rallies like this with numbers like these, it needs to be covered.
Right.
Needs to be given attention to. So we'll see how much further they take it, and what the takeaway from party leaders will be, because with these recent special elections as well, the momentum is in the Democratic Party's favor, even if a lot of the leaders aren't fucking seeming to do shit, honestly.
Right. Hmm. Yeah, I just, it's kind of like, what can we really do except for hang in there until 2026, right?
Sure.
And I mean, it's just what I'm trying to do with our show is to make sure that MAGA isn't just a verdict on the alt right; it's a verdict on all of conservatism.
Yes.
I just don't want it to be 2 to 4 to 8 years from now and us being like, oh, there's still some good things about conservatism. It's like,
No.
no,
No.
there's nothing good about it. Not politically. The only thing that is good about conservatism, I will say, in terms of social conditioning, is it does endow a lot of people with good work ethic,
Hmm.
but that's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it. I really don't see anything positive coming out of the culture, politics, or value systems of conservatism in today's world. It's just
Yeah.
everything revolves around change. So to be predisposed to resist it is counterproductive.
Yeah. 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 Totally agree. It. I mean, there's a lot when it comes to conservatism that um, a lot of people just have like preconceived notions about, or more accurately, like you know, like cliches. Like it's what it's like the left and the Democrats can have a lot of the same values and national pride that is instilled in conservatism, but utilize all that in a way that focuses on the working class and something that actually challenges power, because that's the thing about conservatives. It's like they challenge power, but what exactly is that power? Power
Right.
that threatens um, the Republican Party, or what? Because the Republican Party is not known for being pro union or pro collective bargaining, or even pro working class in general. It's like
Hmm.
you don't see the Republicans going out there and being like, "Oh, we should raise wages on the working class," or "Wow, productivity is insanely high right now, yet." Salaries and wages haven't increased with that productivity adjusted for
Right.
inflation. It's just like,
Right.
yeah, like there's just
The data is undeniable. There's too many data points, I feel like, for
yeah,
people not to realize that they're getting screwed.
yeah, they're just wrapped up in culture war nonsense, and it's just like this doesn't fucking actually affect people. Like you want to like focus on economics, like focus on people's wallets. It's just like the fact that some people happen to be trans and playing in sports and shit doesn't fucking affect people's the power of people's dollar,
Right.
like or the cost of living and shit. It's just like fucking you want to deregulate everything so bad, just willy nilly. It's just like you're taking away regulations that could help people. People prevent people from getting scammed. Like there's no reason the fucking National Labor Relations Board should be targeted, or the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. It's like all the Republican Party does is screw over
Right.
consumers. It's just
Right.
yeah, it's like you need to um they just need to be educated. And I think taking this kind of tour to more red areas, I guess you could say, could go a long way. Maybe people who are more on the fence or have been voting Republican for their whole life, but they think Bernie Sanders has some points. Yeah, bringing a rally to people like that to where they live in those kind of areas maybe might sway some people to actually like reconsider. People that aren't too
Hmm.
far gone, people that aren't like deeply entrenched in MAGA. So yeah, I thought it was a good rally. I'm looking forward to seeing him come through on Tuesday. If he's coming to Folsom, um, I'll be able to at least get off work in time and be up there at least to see AOC and Bernie speak. So I'm looking forward to it.
Right on. Well, that'll be fun, man.
Yeah,
Well, I think this was fun to rally, to react to the rally. I'm going to be reacting to all the rallies this week.
cool. I'll try to
As,
stand. I'll try to stand behind the speakers so you can just see me in my Bernie hat, like behind.
That'd be sweet. That would be sweet, man. That'd be sweet,
Yeah,
man. Well, I'll let you get back to your weekend, and I'm
sure.
going to do the same. Until then, we want to remind you guys to know the heart, but vote with the head. And don't forget, you don't get change in America by asking nicely. Thanks
Yeah,
very much. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys, and cheers to class solidarity.
appreciate it, y'all.
And I'm out.
For sure. I'm about to go out to just one more thing from Megan. It's both parties, strip privileges for DNC and RNC. You can get an actual party for the people. Completely agree. Yeah. Megan, I'll text you. We should do brunch Sunday morning. We'll talk more about that. Everybody have a good weekend.
All right, man.
All right.